government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker.
This equation has four factors, a little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to zero. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero.
We recognize different ages for different purposes. We recognize 18 for the draft. We recognize 16 for driving in some states. We recognize 21 for drinking. So we recognize different ages for different purposes.
What's the other thing we know about this population? And it's a specific phase of life. Remember, age is more than a chronological fact. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid.
Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
Let me start off with two words. Made in America. Made in America.
And by the way, if they do, that means, not a joke, everybody, that's why we were defeated in 2018 when they tried to do it. We went to 54 states.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
A lot of things are happening. Planets are aligned.
That's for sure.
Fuck yeah. That is for sure. Elon Musk just bought Twitter. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, I hope the future is more fun and interesting. And
Bullshit! You know exactly what you're... I don't think you're a bad guy. You're trying to survive for you and your family and do good.
Okay, but
my family, your family, none of us are going to make it. There's a post-human era coming. Yeah. They've made frickin' deals with interdimensional aliens.
It's true.
I refuse to go along with this, and I'm seeing through all of your lies, Barack Obama, you wicked, wicked devil!
Welcome back to another night of Shtick with Koolfrogg. Not feeling so hot. Kind of overslept. Just not ready for the night whatsoever. But, you know, we're going to try still doing something somehow, some way. I'm really not going to be able to cover too much news because, you know, the second I do that is, you know, things happen. Things happen where YouTube doesn't like me. It has a tendency that's what happens. And as far as that goes, I still have 2 more days left for the third strike to fall off. I got another 10 days after that before the second strike falls off, and then I got another whole month before the first strike falls off. So as far as it's really seriously 3 active strikes, I'm not going to be able to do much of anything other than maybe talk to chat. That's pretty much as far as that goes. It's really horrible that they've of making it that's the most I can do. I really have no clue what to do on YouTube other than to talk to chat. That's pretty much what it comes down to, because they've actually made it that difficult for me to run my own show the way I've always run it. And it's just so hard and so difficult to actually just do anything. Let's see if I can't say hi to people in chat first. Looks like Madcore Mofo is the first one around. He's like, nice site. Like, oh, and of course, yeah, he can finally listen. Ah, the memories. Of course, Nick's running YouTube tonight. Because why wouldn't he be running YouTube tonight? Of all nights, first night back, Nick Ricada is still going to run YouTube. We've been running against him forever, and it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's fine. Conspiracy Music, good to see you, brother. Glad you're here. If y'all haven't already noticed, if you look down in the description line on the YouTube channel and you actually look, there's a first line on there is actually the Rumble channel. The Rumble channel where you can actually go and subscribe over there, where I can get more into depth. I can actually cover news articles without being scared that YouTube's going to go and strike me and remove me. I really seriously just have met tomorrow. Yes, the frog is back. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm back, but at the same time, because I have 3 active strikes right now. I really seriously have to watch what the heck I'm saying. I can't just say whatever I want. Kath H, good to see you. Texas Jen, Rose, how's it going, dear? I seriously, it's so awesome to see y'all again. It's great. I'm so glad that I'm here and I can actually see y'all. I can actually see people in chat. It's great. The difference between this and Rumble, yeah, I still have 450 subscribers over on Rumble, but for whatever reason, it seems that everybody watches shows from their phones, their devices, as opposed to actually, having a computer or something to actually look at, which, according to what I've heard, you don't get a Rumble rant or you don't get the chance to actually chat in Rumble like you can on YouTube. It's easier to watch the YouTube side. I really wish Rumble would do a lot more work with their platform and actually fix some of that and make it easier for everybody to actually be able to. Madcore, welcome back, bitches. Yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, like I said, it feels great to be back. So glad that I'm here. TR, how's it going, brother? I see those wrenches, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I actually had so many people marked out as wrenches, people that were actually my regulars, ones that would actually show up every night for me, no matter what, no matter how retarded I got. It didn't matter what I did, what I said, you'd all still show up for me and still actually hang out, have a good time. Um, it looks like there's 7 people according to this. 7? I could get this up to like 20, almost 30 on a regular show. I know it's been a while. Melissa Jane, how's it going, dear? I know it's been a while. I know. It's like 3 months of absolutely no content on YouTube. And I'm just like I'm glad that I'm here. I'm glad that I'm able to actually try doing something. But now, see, I still have my couple Rumble subscribers. Here you go. Great liquor. How's it going, brother? I'm glad you're here. Uh, I just I don't know. I remember biting my tongue so hard on YouTube to not catch a strike from them and not do anything against their wishes that I'm just like I got 20 some odd articles open and I don't even know if I can actually just go ahead and actually, read. I've been so loose tongue in the last 3 months on Rumble that I'm afraid that I'll do something stupid on YouTube and get them to actually to just yank my channel that I just got back. I don't want them to take it from me. I really don't. That's why I'm like, what do I do? How do I go about doing this? How do I get this to actually work the way I want it to? Yeah, see, Madcore, I couldn't watch you on Rumble while at work. Has no chat, just not the same now that you're back. Um on here I can watch you again at work. And that's why I enjoyed it so much. Is like it didn't matter where y'all were at. I was able to actually, you know, put on a show for everybody. And that's why I'm so scared right now. Like I said, 3 active strikes. One of them doesn't fall off for another few days. I got a few weeks on another one and almost a month on the third. I just Jessica Reloaded. What are you trying to do? I don't know what I'm trying to do. That's the thing. TR says, well, America Shirts just needs to keep his mouth shut. And that's the thing, is it's not just him. It's not just him because the stuff that it's what we cover, how we cover it, and what we actually say. I just Jessica. So this is where everybody's at. Yeah, exactly, Princess. We're over here on YouTube. There's so many more people that enjoy this platform and can use it wide open, can actually use the chat features without messing around. Winning, winning. What are you doing? He's over on Rumble. He's like, I'll go over here and I'll hang up by myself. Now I know great liquors over there, and that's why I seriously can't not run on Rumble now. I have to actually run both places. I have to. There's no way that I can't. Right, exactly, Memento. The whole gang's here. What's up, nerd? I'm glad you're here. Look, they seen your channel was fine. That's why they got it back. You just do what you did before. And that's I'm afraid to. I'm afraid to because I've become so loose tongue with Rumble that if I go and I do that over here on YouTube, I'll get this shit shut down. I'll get it shut down before I even get started. And I don't want to get it shut down before I even get started. I want to continue to do what I was doing. Rose says hi to everybody over on that Rumble chat. Like I said, I'm so excited to actually be here. And I want to continue to do what I was doing. There's some stuff that I just can't cover. Some stuff I just really seriously, no matter how hard I try, if I went and I covered, stuff like Koof and talked about it the way I was actually talking about it on Rumble, I'm gonna get this show tanked. I'm gonna get this show tanked before I even start. And that's what I'm saying, Madcore. He says, do what you did before when you were doing it on YouTube, not Rumble. Right, I have to actually bite my tongue again. I have to bite my tongue again on everything that I've actually done. And I've been so easy over on the Rumble side that I'm really seriously, no matter what I do, no matter how I cover it over here, I really have to watch myself. Yes, Leslie, I'm back. Watching a car chase right now. Huh. Yeah, I'm so glad to be here. It's it really is something. So I mean, if y'all remember those places where you can actually go to support me, buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg. The PayPal link, those are still active. You can actually still use those to donate, support me. Um, if you hadn't already, please hit the like buttons. Rumble site, go ahead, hit that plusy, crush it, smash it, make it your friend. Do all those things. Push this through algorithms. You got to still do what we had been doing. I just, like I said, I really seriously have to watch what I'm covering, what I'm saying, and how I'm doing. I really do. And I was setting up articles for today, and I'm like, well, I know that, I've watched other people, in the last month or so on the YouTube side. I tried, keeping myself going on what everybody else is still being able to cover, how they're able to still cover it. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can, if I try hard enough, I can make it work. I just Like I said, I don't want to tank it because I have no open windows right now. Everything's so locked down on the YouTube side. Leslie says, "Frog, how have you been?" I've been great. I've been great. I've been actually still producing this show when I could, being that I got an actual job um, that actually runs about the same time. So my a normal job for me, this is 10 o'clock Mountain Standard Time right now, or it's 20 after. Normal job for me is running from 11 to 7, and it's running 4 days a week. So which knocked me down to 3 days of being able to run a show. Those 3 days, uh, I don't know if it's going to be more of a see if I can't talk to my boss and see if I can't make it more solid, where to actually be here for you all on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Now, if the schedule for this week was not supposed to be that way, it was supposed to be Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, but because of the weather that had occurred, we're in like blizzard-like conditions. Um, I had switched Wednesday and Friday, so I'm back to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. And I j like I said, I'm concerned for myself at this point in time because if I go and I say anything that YouTube doesn't like, they can just go and take whatever they want, without a thought. Super V. I'm so glad that you're all here. It's so exciting to actually see people and being able to actually see a large amount of people actually come in here to see what I'm actually talking about. Um, it seems as though as I missed quite a few days. I missed quite a few days of being able to do this, or it's like months. It just seems so long. The internet time frame is so much longer than anything else. YouTube is bad stuff, but you're back. I mean, and that's what I'm saying is I'm back, but at the same time, I still have those 3 active strikes. Those 3 active strikes that are on there have not fallen off. They're still there. So the second that I do anything wrong, it doesn't matter what it is, boom, I'm gone again. And then I go right back through that whole turmoil of trying to get stuff back. And I don't want to do that. I want to be here for y'all. And I just it's so ridiculous on what they've actually done and been able to do. It's it's horrible. It really is. It's horrible that they're able to hold that much control over everybody. If this moment reminds me when you first joined our lives. Yeah, I totally remember that. I mean, I remember going back to the beginning of starting this and almost to the day. Like, seriously, on Thursday, the 15th, 2 days from today, will be exactly 1 year. 1 year of me actually running Shtick with Koolfrogg. And even that very, very first episode that I ever did, it was removed. It was removed. It was taken from me. It was taken from me, and they seriously just like ripped it right from there. Like, warning number one, first episode. I'm like, geez, wow, that was quick. That's a little harsh. And I'm like, rein it in and actually know what I can say and what I can't. Um, it's really kind of difficult. Miami Spice, good to see you. And like I said, I got like 20 different articles up, but I don't know. I'm trying to like look at the stuff, and like I said, I just woke up at the same time, so I'm really kind of brain juices are starting to flow, and we'll do something. Yeah, I'll get a couple articles up here. Um, let's have a little bit of fun to begin with, I suppose. Let's show this guy. So we all know the great potato. You know, this guy, Joe Biden. He's this man seriously has gone to the point of actually stay away from politics. It's, that's that's my show. News and politics. That's been my show since the beginning. The only time that I didn't talk news and politics is when I'd actually bring other people in and we'd try holding conversations about other things. And I've still caught strikes for doing that kind of stuff, you know. So I mean, as far as that, there's nothing I can do but actually continue to do what I was doing. It's pretty much what it has to be. I know you are, but it's. I'm just saying. I just there's so much in my brain right now that I'm just like, okay, what do I do? How do I go about this? So then it says Joe Biden on Tuesday hosted a ceremony in the South Lawn to sign the Respect for Marriage Act. Now, I think I do have something about the Respect for Marriage Act within all of this, uh, which really seriously just kind of opens up the door for marriage equality across the board. You marry who you love, and I'm all for that. I really am. People should be able to be happy with whoever they want. My problem is still to this day, it's the same exact way it's always been. Performing and telling children that it's okay to do this in front of them is disgusting. People being allowed to continuously push their thoughts on children so that the children actually feel that they're actually supposed to be okay with whatever you want them to be okay with. It's very, very disturbing that they're allowed to actually get away with so much. So then you can see here, it says a drag queen who likes to perform for children also attended the signing ceremony. Exactly, Anne. Good to see it. YouTube is very liberal. They're evil. They really are. They're so evil. They actually will go to that extent. They go to that extent of making it so that I can't just say what I want, how I want, when I want. So either way, this is Joe Biden interrupted his speech to tell the audience, don't jump. This is why does Biden always do this? Here you go. So it happens within the first couple seconds. I know this is a 40-second clip. I don't know why Benny Johnson didn't cut it down a little bit further. But
Standing behind me are dozens of plaintiffs. Up there, don't jump.
up there, don't jump. What? They weren't going to. You old fool. You seriously gonna go turn around, look at them standing up there and be like, don't jump? Did you think that they were actually thinking of doing such a thing? What would make you actually go to this point of actually saying such a stupid thing?
Plaintiffs. Up there, don't jump.
And everybody's like, oh, yeah, don't jump. It just, seriously, holy crap. You're going to just stand there and be like, don't jump.
This is a plaintiffs. Up there, don't jump.
Just don't jump. What a fool. You just usually think that that's going to actually happen. If somebody did right after he said something, would he actually get in trouble for actually incitement. He said something and then they actually went through their mind and they decided to do it. Would he actually get in trouble for actually doing such a, seriously, he should. Eh, For him actually to say any of that is ridiculous. Um, and looking through all these articles that I had pulled up for today, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't cover that. Like, I can't cover this one either. And no, that one, no, I really can't cover that either. I'm just like looking at all this stuff, and I'm like, no matter how I cover any of these articles that I had pulled up, I really seriously feel that I'm crossing the line of YouTube's will, and they're just I don't want them to take this away from me before I actually get the chance to actually do anything. And almost makes me want to seriously makes me feel like I need to uh, shut off the YouTube side and just go over to the Rumble side so that I can actually cover this. I can cover this without worry. But I don't want to because look at y'all, 15. That grew pretty quick. It grew pretty quick. Everybody's still interested in coming and listening to what we have to say. Um, where's America's shirts? Come on, brother. Come in here and spit some stuff with me and let's go over this and see what we can actually continue to do with 3 active strikes. And that's what scares me the most. This is like if one of them fell off, 2 of them fell off, I might be okay. I might be okay to the point where I'll just be like, let's just do it without worry, not even care. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to get this channel tanked again as I'm just starting back out again. To only have them come back at me and maybe not give it back to me this time. I just don't want that to happen. I really don't. So, and as Just says, let's get this up to the 1,000 subs. I noticed in the last few hours of, I'm going to look at this closer. Yeah, I lost 2 subs. I was at 700. I lost 2 subs in the last couple hours. I don't know if it was that they were like, oh, maybe he won't do anything over here. Maybe he's just, it's just an open channel. No, it's not an open channel. We'll actually do more stuff. We'll actually get a little bit more loose tongue. We'll actually speak of more things that, you just feel, like I said, I'm just feeling a little shy at the moment. It's just like that just opened the curtains back up for me after, keeping them closed for 2 months. No, I know 2 subs. Who cares? Those are the new ones that I had picked up within the last few days. Is the way I'm feeling. I picked up a couple that I didn't expect to pick up, and I'm just wanting them to come back and actually listen to what I'm actually saying and see if they actually wouldn't change their mind and actually just stick around. He lost 5 within an hour. That's YouTube. That's YouTube's will, and that's what I'm like. It's only 2. I get it. It's only 2. It's not a big deal. It's nothing that But when you actually see something like that, when you're like, wait a minute here, give me a chance. Come back, and you didn't even hear me out yet. I haven't said a word, and y'all running for the hills. So like, oh, you didn't say anything. He's not running a show. Yeah, I am. I'm right here. I'll try doing something. I'm just like I said. I'm a little like the curtains just opened up again, and I'm a little shy at the moment. I'll get there. Um, like I said, I'll get there. It just needs a little bit of work. Here you go. Let's see if we can't just like wide open curtains. Let's go. So I know that I've hit on this a couple times. The um, Iran has gone to up the point of actually going after people for actual protest. This is the Iranian Newswire shared the details of 28 Iranians sentenced to death for the participation in anti-regime protests following the murder of a 22-year-old Iranian woman, Masha Imani. Um, this is from injuries sustained from at the hands of regime thugs. Um, Imani was arrested for improper wearing of a hijab. Since her murder, Iran has been engulfed in massive protests against the government. Last week, Shakiri was the first person to be executed in connection with the anti-regime protests. The execution of the Iranian protest, Mohsen Shakiri, on the morning of December 8th, following the 3-day general strike, drew public attention to the country's political prisoners who have been sentenced to death. Many have interpreted Shakir's death execution as a threat of staged judiciary. Since the very beginning of the nationwide protests in the middle of September, it has been clear that the repressive clerical regime would apply inhumane practices inside the prisons as its security forces kill, inflict injuries, and detain protesters in the streets. So they're just pretty much anybody that's out there in the streets that's protesting this, they're going after them. They're going after them and saying that they're wrong for actually using and speaking out against what the government's doing to people. And they're like, no, if we don't like it, we don't care what she did. We really don't care, of the improper use of a hijab. They need to actually step back, and they actually need to start leaving people alone, and they don't care. They really don't. So, according to information gathered by the Iran Wire, um, a total of 28 protesters have been handed capital punishment after the eruption of the nationwide protest movement that followed the murder of Masa Amini in the custody of morality police. In this report, we remember the names, the faces, and conditions of those who were caught into the nets of judicial system, which, according to Navid Afkari, a protester who was executed a few years ago, is looking for necks for the ropes to impose silence on the inflamed society, waging a war against God, enmity against the Islamic rule, and spreading corruption on earth are the three main charges issued against the participants or alleged participants in these just widespread protests. Some of them are accused of destroying property, others are blamed of attacking police officers during protests. Another group of suspects are alleged accomplices in the cases related to the deaths of members of the paramilitary Bajij force. Judges in these cases refer to videos and protests published on social networks or obtained from the defendants' mobile phones. Some suspects have denied their charges against them in front of the court's cameras, but the Islamic Republic has not granted them any rights. The defendants are deprived of a lawyer, and their choices were kept in the solitary confinement. Some of them claim that they're subjected to both mental and physical torture. It is necessary to remember that the principles of adherence to transparency and proper reporting of the judicial process are the responsibility of the judiciary and the media, which are at the hands of the oppressive regime. So there you go. At least 28 protesters have been handed the death penalty after the eruption of the nationwide protests across Iran. We remember the names and story of those killed in Iran's judicial system. So, they're being executed, straight out removed from the face of this planet for actually protesting against what was already. It's very disturbing when you actually think about it, that they're able to actually go to that point of saying, well, You protested. You spoke your mind against the current government, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to remove you. We're going to remove you now. You're done. It's like, well, wow, that's a little drastic for protesting. It's a little scary when you think about it. I slept. I missed Jess's stream. It looks like Leslie's saying that it was a good stream. I have to try going back and rewatching. If seriously, I mean, this whole deal with just being allowed to actually just go ahead and sentence people to death for simple protest. That's very scary. It's very scary to think that one country is able to actually do so. What's going to stop other countries from doing the same? We've seen what has happened to U.S. citizens that actually protested during J6. A lot of them still being held, still imprisoned to this day. Some of them without trial yet. They're just going to go ahead and they're going to continue to do what they want to do. Each government's just treating humans improperly, and it's kind of gross. My car chase is still going. I'm kind of interested in what that actually is, Leslie. What is actually happening? What? Giving me a little bit more detail, something that I can go look at, see if I can't speak of it a little bit more in depth. Maybe show our audience what we're actually going through. Could be interesting to speak of. Because I have quite a few articles up, but some of these, there's no way that I'd actually be able to cover such a thing. I just know that. I just know. I know better. I'm like, nah, that's too far. Some of these things that I know that I'd never cover ever before on YouTube side. Car chases are cool. I really don't. I mean, it's just. Authorities chasing armed robbery suspect through LA. Being that you're all speaking of such a thing, it looks as though somebody's actually now on foot. Is that the case? Is that what we're actually looking at?
Was some movement coming from that area, and that's where the night sun is focused. That is CHP's helicopter right overhead. Following reports of apparent somebody running.
There's somebody in that corner
back there. Okay. There appears to be some movement, but I don't see anybody running.
All right, right there where the sun is. You see that movement right there? Let's zoom in. The dark area to the just directly down from this building. Just down a little bit. In that area is what
they're trying to say that there's somebody that's on foot that
in there is where it looked like
went in that area.
I may have been wrong, but you see how the shadows move around because the helicopters are moving? That is possibly what it was, but I thought I saw some movement in there.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense, and actually that happens quite a bit to us up here because as those shadows move around, it can play tricks on the eyes, if you will. But it certainly appears that they are focused back there. They're looking for some more
Yes.
activity. They're probably realizing now
Even
that
to the
that
LAPD to fuck it
other
up.
person in a baseball cap is not their
the
guy.
I mean, is there somebody
But
in
you
there?
still see some more officers in front.
Look like there's some
I
movement
wonder
inside that
if
crevice
they have
there. Yeah.
access to other cameras back there. You never know, especially in the rear of the business.
It is possible too if there's a rear door that he might have run right through the liquor store. Right,
very
and that's possible. Looks like that may be it right there, and that he may have run through and is back behind the building or has made his way to some other exit.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense as well. In fact, that's the only other way I could see him getting through. I don't think he had enough time. By the time he would have run around the building and back there, he would have lost some steam. We would have seen him. We would have seen some indication. And there was other people in front as well who would have pointed police in that direction. So if he is back there, if those reports are correct, I have a feeling you might be right.
See, when they point the spotlight at a certain spot, it illuminates that long hallway.
Director Mike Gilbert was able to get a
That's
screenshot
super
from
dark.
our air
And then
on his
see,
phone.
you can
This is
see
how we're
as they
doing this
move.
stuff now. The guy had a
there's-
beard too. The suspect had a beard. He was wearing a black
To get it in the right
t-shirt
spot, they can
with
illuminate
some sort of
it.
logo. It appears on the back of it, and a black hat with some sort of logo on the front of the hat, and what appeared to be light or
A
gray
black hat with some sort of logo.
or pants, and he had a beard. So we're zooming in on it literally right now. You know, that's the shot that we got from Air 7 HD, thankfully, and we obviously can relay that to whoever needs it.
Okay,
to look
that
for
was
this
from
person,
earlier.
but
So
there he
okay,
is. Interesting stride he had.
yeah,
there.
he's
So
gassed
far,
already.
able to
He's a
elude
pretty
police. He
big
was
dude.
running fast enough to be able to get away
They
thus
say
far.
interesting
There's some
stride
kind of
was
looked
because
like a
he's
winged sort of a logo on the
not
back
used
of
to
his
running.
shirt. Pretty distinctive. It's not just some
It's not something
plain,
that he looks like he normally does.
incognito sort of outfit he's got on. Plus, he's got
They
short
caught a guy
sleeves.
with a
He's probably
hoodie.
the only person within miles who's in shirt sleeves right now because it's freezing out there at night. Now it looks like there's some police activity behind the building. You see a flashlight moving around back there.
Have they made their way back there?
It
Yeah.
looks like
Of course, the
that.
police found the donut shop. Yeah.
Some flashlights. You see additional agencies now joining the search here. Downey Police, LA County Sheriff, California Highway Patrol at the end of this pursuit. None of them were able to. Is that him? That's not him. That's another.
Not him.
That's another
Is that
person.
somebody else though?
Somebody else.
Okay, so.
Wonder how many people.
There might be somebody else.
How many people they can arrest before they get the right one?
I wonder.
Now, keep in mind, this is an armed robbery suspect, correct? This is someone who's believed to have committed an armed robbery.
That's right.
Recently, so they don't know whether the person they're looking for has a weapon on them. They've got to be very careful with this search. They can't just go running up and down the street looking for this guy. They've got to be very careful about when they open a door, when they open the lid to some crawl space or something that they're looking at. They've got to be. They can't just kind of charge around through this area looking for this guy because he may have a firearm on him and could really cause some damage. So, you know, it has to be meticulous. But it has
Just
to
arrest a bunch. They'd probably do something anyway.
A wanted felon who has fled from police and has so far been able to
Yeah,
get away.
if they're out this late at night, they had to have done something wrong.
So, sorry.
Go ahead.
Somebody coming out the front door. That's no, that's the other guy. No, that's not him. That's not unless he put on a jacket.
Unless he put on a jacket. Check his shoes.
Yeah.
Let's see if his shoes. On kind of high top.
That's
shoes
not
with
him.
Skinny jeans, if memory serves.
But in any event, you're right, Mark. He was reportedly armed.
They just found another guy sitting in the.
Treat this very methodically.
They know that's not him.
Their guns drawn as they scour the back of that business.
Does he have a beard? Does this guy have a beard? And there's hats off.
I
wonder
mean,
where he got the jacket from.
Yeah.
It's possible.
It is possible. It's hard to tell.
Doesn't seem to have
Those
the
jeans
same
look
build.
baggier than the ones
They look
than
baggier
this
than
guy.
the other guy. I
Right.
agree, Mark.
Yeah, this is. I don't think this is the guy
I
either.
don't think this guy.
But what are the odds that they're scooping people up outside of this liquor store? That's the second person that they've got handcuffed. Maybe they're having somebody try to ID this person. But the jeans definitely look baggier than the ones that guy had on. We could be wrong.
I agree, and even a slightly heavier set fellow. So
the other guy was skinnier.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, man, I got to wonder now whether he's hiding amongst those apartments back there, because this business appears to be.
Oh, they got another guy over here. Okay.
Secure now. Who's this?
That's not the guy.
This is the guy that was attacked.
That was
by
the original guy that was attacked by the dog, who was, when we first saw him, was walking away from the liquor store. I think
So they
he
got
had a tall boy
two
in his
wrong
hand
guys.
Immediately put his hands up
and put his hands up in the air and appeared to be complying. And then we moved off, and the next thing we know, the dog is chewing on this guy.
Very, very odd. But as they focus on all of this activity in the front, I can't help but wonder if he's not in this shopping center, where could he have gone? And I can only think that maybe he's hiding amongst those apartments back there, which is some cause for alarm, especially at this hour of the night. Let's go ahead and widen out a little bit more.
One little, two little, three little wrong guys.
Back there, you still see the night sun kind of peering between the buildings. Still only a handful of units. Yeah, there's some more officers with their flashlights.
More officers
back there,
looking around.
looking around that apartment building, looking for any hiding spots. Could have easily climbed to one of those balconies to hide out. Lots of hiding spots, quite frankly. But I don't think that the two people in front, at least the two people that I've seen them speaking with, I don't think either of them are related to this at all.
You mean the ones that they have handcuffed, like they arrested them?
Those jeans are light colored. His pants are light colored. But what are we? 800 feet in the air, 1,000 feet in the air. It's kind of hard. We do have video of that suspect running away, and at the time he was wearing a hat. He had on a short-sleeved T-shirt with a golden, some sort of logo on the back of it. If this person is wearing that sort of a shirt, obviously it's been covered by this hoodie that he's got on, and the jeans the pants appear to be baggier than what this guy was wearing.
He looks like he's a little bigger in size too. He doesn't look like the.
It's a mask. Maybe it wasn't a beard. Okay, well there you go. That might be a thing.
Could you tell, Rob? Was he wearing a mask when he was running? I don't.
Just like uncuff him real quick and ask him to go for a little quick jog and see what his. See how he flails his arms.
Of the suspect as he was running across the lanes there.
See if he has this weird stature like this guy does when he goes running.
Wearing a mask. Look at that.
So.
And he is not quite as skinny as I thought, but I still can't tell whether.
No, but he's not as big as the guy that they have.
Where he would have gotten that hoodie from.
Looks similar, but now if he's grabbed a hoodie from somebody, then it makes sense. Then it looks a little more like the guy.
Wow, he's talented. He runs backwards.
If we were to see him running, we could probably pick him out. But
see, you said the same thing I did.
Nobody that we know of has.
See if we can see him running. Maybe we could pick him out.
Check myself. Somebody got hurt. It was the guy that was walking out of the liquor store that got bitten by the police dog. So that person, and a German Shepherd is no joke. When they're biting you, that can be extremely serious, and
it sure can.
It could merit a trip to the hospital for that individual who may have just been minding his own business, walking away from a liquor store, and ended up being chewed on by a police dog. So there is
absolutely
that
right.
part
Wouldn't
of
be
this.
surprised to see an ambulance pull in here any second. But
He's
in the
still
meantime,
sitting down.
I tell you what I don't see, Mark, is any attempt at a perimeter.
Right.
It doesn't even look like they're setting up for any kind of a containment. So.
Of course not.
If he's not here,
why would they?
He's gone, essentially, because there is no way at this point that they have enough manpower to set up. There's the
Need to be on all chases. I mean,
down there,
I could attempt, but
and this guy who's still in handcuffs.
Let's go ahead and back up a little bit, Justin. We'll pull back away. From
that's
front of
like totally moving away from what I've always ever done.
Unlucky.
And obviously, I've never had good luck on everything that I've actually done.
This individual who
Maybe some change might be worthwhile.
Not in any way connected. Yeah, you can
But
see
I
the
don't
blood
know.
on the
I
ground.
really
He was
don't
not
know how
connected
much
to
change
our
I could
knowledge
actually go
to
through
this
and
situation.
still be happy with
And
myself on what
all of
I'm
a
actually
sudden
trying
was
to
being,
get across to other
basically
people.
chewed on by a
I really
police
don't.
canine. He doesn't match a description of the suspect. He's got on a Dodgers cap.
There's a lawsuit.
Yeah, it could potentially be, and he's. I think he has something to say to the officers right now. I'm not sure what the discussion is, obviously, that's going on there, but this is an unfortunate part of what happened here. We still aren't positive that the person that they have in custody, the other person that they have in custody, is in fact the driver. We know there was a female passenger who stayed with the vehicle and was immediately arrested by the highway patrol, and now they've obviously, well, that's the car that was involved. They've cleared that. And so now the question is, do they have the right person and or people? And is that the end of this pursuit?
Oh, they got two people,
as
so
you have
maybe
been
they got the
reporting,
right
with,
people.
A report of an armed robbery.
So, Mark, we're hearing now that there are 2 people being taken into custody, not including the female.
Okay.
And that leads me to wonder whether maybe this guy here ran in the other direction. We automatically, at the end of these pursuits, immediately, instinctively follow the driver when they foot bail.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite possible that somebody else in the back seat ran away from the vehicle in a different direction and could be related. It's not out of the question.
Okay.
It's at least possible. And I should put
Nice
that out there as a
potentiality there.
possibility as we
I'm not
follow
sure
the
if that's
driver
really
with the
something that you
camera.
really need
We
to
don't exactly know
be
whether
thinking
anybody
about,
else
but
moved the vehicle, and it very well
I
could be the
suppose
case that
if there's
somebody
multiple
did, and it
people
could in fact
involved.
be the person who was tracked down by that canine. So you can see him now being treated and taken in for questioning.
Well, they're certainly treating him as a suspect. He's still handcuffed. They're searching him, it looks like. They're putting some bandages on them, but we assume that there will be a search, if there hasn't been one already, of this individual. So
that's what I say, Rose. They need to make him run. Go take a quick jog, like you're running away from us, and see how you flail your arms.
In terms of this person, or in fact, in terms of the
that way we can tell if it's you or not.
But we do know
no, that's right. There's no. I don't think either one of these people that they have, currently in custody as being the driver.
And we do not know what exactly happened here.
What his involvement is. Yeah. It certainly didn't appear to be. I didn't see anybody else running, but it's certainly possible.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's not, it could always be that they found something else on him, but we have no evidence of that.
Right. You have a point there, Madcore. If for whatever reason something like dramatically happens all of a sudden,
that's the thing.
It could just also just be like gone.
And we, you and I think everybody from our end thought that no, that can't be. That's not the guy we saw running out. So we're looking for the guy that ran out, and he just continued walking, to the left of the screen. We left him with our camera, followed, and then our only clue that this was even happening was that another police dog was alerting on him. The other police dog
if this dude that they're putting in that got bit by the dog,
lunging in that direction.
if it just so happened to be that come worst come to worst, they could totally hit me for that.
And I immediately thought, I don't know if he's connected to this at all. But it is, as you say,
which is ridiculous because it's. I'm not sitting there trying to condone any of this. I'm just trying to be like, these police are right. Every single one of these cops are doing the right thing right now. They're standing in order and not going to the donut shop.
The vehicle itself was on borrowed time without that front left tire.
I'm sure they all can smell that. They're like, oh, it's right there.
In veracity, and you could just tell that he was starting to lose steam there, and maybe even running out of gas. So he just came to a sudden stop, ran across that median, and the pursuit is now over as they shut down this section of Imperial Highway for an investigation, piecing all of this together. But at the very least, it does not appear that anybody else
Oh, now it's gonna buffer. They're like,
Was hurt. There was no other traffic collisions here. And to give you a better idea where we are at Paramount Boulevard and Imperial Highway.
All right, and it looks like it's over. 3 people now in custody. The person that we believe may have been the
and the
driver,
woman.
a female passenger, and this man, whose disposition we do not know, but who has been strapped to the gurney. His hands are free. He's no longer is.
Oh, his hands are free. He's no longer
Looks
being
like
detained.
his left hand is completely free here, so it takes time, and of course, as you said, we can only speculate from.
Though
from
he's
our
still
vantage
strapped
point,
to the gurney.
but it's
You know,
going to
so
be
I
interesting
mean,
to see ultimately what the official word is once we get a hold of a PIO here soon.
Mm-hmm.
But it does look like if he is injured, yeah, he is strapped there.
His
right arm.
oh, they got him.
handcuffed.
They got his right hand cuffed to
It
the
doesn't look to be terribly serious.
gurney
He's
itself.
up and conscious, breathing, and alert. And
he's going to have some serious bite wounds to be treated. That's for sure.
For sure.
All right. Well, this pursuit has come to an end, as you have reported. We have seen 3 people taken into custody. One we are pretty much certain was actually in the car at the time the pursuit ended. That was the woman who was leaning up against it and was then quickly apprehended by the CHP.
Can they sue them if he gets bit by a dog and it's the wrong guy? You know,
their connection to this. One of them may
I bet there's some way, shape, or form that they could go. You know, if you find out that he's not the guy, he had nothing to do with it, he still got attacked and caused that much damage.
Here streaming, and you've watched.
If you were smart enough, you could actually go after him and actually get them and charge the LAPD for doing such a thing.
Additional coverage, we will certainly bring that to you. Thanks a lot.
That is potential. That is potential, I'm sure. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing that screen. Doesn't look like they're gonna do too much more with that. I'll leave this kind of off to the side here. It's always something that we could potentially look at again if they decided to listen to be like, oh, there's more happening. Almost an hour in. Feels good to be back on YouTube. Thank you all for being here. It's kind of fun, kind of exciting. Okay, I'm not going to watch that. Looks like they went away. That news channel went to their other news. Awesome. So, what's Ricada talking about? Loudoun County report. EVS sues Preston. Activist gets dumpster in Congress. Really don't know what all that's exactly about. Really don't know. Well, seems like there's an awful lot going on in the YouTube world right now. Bunch of people running shows, doing their own thing. So, yeah, no shirts. I really don't know. I know that he's got his own real life job going on as well. He knew that we were going to do something tonight. Jimmy YouTube hit me up and Discord side and kind of threw him a link if he was interested. Come and join me and hold a conversation of sorts. Speak of some of this other stuff that I had pulled up. Like I said, some of it though is as I'm looking at it, it's like, no, I knew better. I knew better back when I was actually running the YouTube side of things to actually not talk about particulars. I do. I do. You're all here. Um, let's go off of this one. This one I thought was kind of interesting. Hadn't really hit on it that such a thing was actually happening. I like talking about my news and politics, so as far as that goes, I'm gonna talk about this lady here. So this lady, this is wide mouth lady. This is Kristen Sinema, uh, Arizona senator, and it says newly independent Arizona senator Kristen Sinema. So again, independent. That right there tells you a lot. She's served as an independent in a shocking display of power in politics. Uh, you can see the headline says Arizona senator quits Democratic Party. Biden loses full power of U.S. Senate. Well, that's not true. That's not true. She's an independent. That means she's a wild card. That's the same wild card that she played uh, over the last few years, um, as being that centrist per se, the one that's not seriously being taken one way or the other, and she's being allowed to be that centrist and pretty much be the wild card. For them to actually think that they don't have full control over the Senate is just in my mind them playing games with us. Uh, trying those that don't understand, haven't paid attention to like Kristen Sinema in the last few years, wouldn't understand that she's actually is that much of a wild card. She has several times between herself and Joe Manchin actually gone to the point of holding up certain things through the Senate and disallowing certain bills per se to be passed. She's done a lot. She really has, um, to stop the Senate from actually moving forward with a lot of things. Um, so this is gained high power in DC and going to against the established order of the DC use usurpations, made an ultimate move just days after the party won the 51st Senate seat, which is a massive blow to the dismayed Democrat Joe Biden and the Marxist left who support him. The enigmatic senator has shocked Capitol Hill by leaving the Democrats, making her grand entrance into the independents, just as Democrats and Biden were celebrating their very suspicious midterm gains for a sitting president. Sinema insisted she would continue to vote the same way she has for years, telling the media on Friday that nothing will change about my values or my behavior. So, though she's not registered as a Democrat and she's actually putting herself out as the independent that she's saying she is, she hasn't really changed anything. It didn't go and flip it from a 51-49 to a 50-50 split. It's just now it's more of a 50-49 one. And that one can flip and flop as much as she wants. There's still going to be one side or the other that's going to sit there and try pushing bills, across the table. It's not going to be something that she's really going to get to the point of being like, nah, nah. She's not going to actually change the outcome of anything. Everything is still exactly the way she's always had it in her head. Is she still planning on caucus with the Democrats? That's the thing I don't understand. Well, as far as being registered as that independent is where you were actually unable to actually caucus. So, will she still caucus? I doubt it because she shouldn't no longer be able to caucus with Democrats, being that she's not up as a Democrat. Um,
There's somebody sitting over on the Rumble side. Hey Beaver, how's it going? Says McConnell and Graham shouldn't need her. She's a waste of space. And that's pretty much what it comes down to, is how much of a waste of space is she really? Because, she's pretty much trying to push it that, she's going to be the deciding factor. She's going to be the one that everybody is actually going to have to go to get their bills passed, to get anything passed through the Senate. They're all going to have to try going after um, and talking to her and persuade her to vote a certain way or not. So she's kind of playing that game of power, and that's pretty much where where it's actually going. Is she's just going to play a game. She's going to continue to play her games that she's always been playing, that they need to persuade, one way or the other. She's the one that they need to actually convince, and I don't. It's still going to have to come down to almost everybody else. So this is the former Democrat claims she will continue to vote in the same way she has for the first 4 years in the Senate in Arizona, being constrained by party politics. But it creates a storm for Biden, who has been celebrating a rare midterm gain for the sitting president as Democrats gained a seat to go from 50-50 split to a 51-49 majority following Raphael Warnock's Georgia runoff. Announcing the switch, the 46-year-old senator, known for her bold outfits and being one of the two Democratic swing votes, said she never really fit into a box of any political party and is close with allies on both sides of the aisle. That's the wild card thing. Both sides of the aisle. She's the deciding factor. She's the one that everybody's going to have to try going to convince them to actually change anything. John Jelaine over on the Rumble side says cinema is protected. Musk too. There's so much money flying around. It's a Fed debt note blizzard. There's a lot happening. There's a lot happening when it comes to where the money is and what's actually, where the money's actually being pushed to. That Democrat Party and obviously had ties to Sam Fried. When you actually look at people like him or whatever, and the monies that they had actually put out there, it really makes you start wondering and thinking about some of that shit. So this is while the Democrats now retain a 50-49 majority over Republicans. If Sinema chooses to side with the GOP, Vice President Kamala Harris has the casting vote, meaning the governing party maintains its control. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of just like she's a wild card. It's not really something that if she goes and she sides with Democrats on anything, she's gonna make it a 50-50 again, which would actually make Kamala Harris have to actually do her job, which is the reason why I say they actually went to the point of doing what they had done with the Georgia runoff and made it so that she didn't have to actually do her job. The move means fellow rogue Democrat Joe Manchin maintains his powerful role and will be a crucial factor in passing and blocking Biden's agenda with the razor thin margin. Well, as far as that goes, it doesn't matter how much of agenda they try passing, because you still have to pass these between both seats of Congress, on both the Senate and the House of Republicans, House or House of Representatives. House of Representatives, when you actually look at them, they're actually like 221. They actually do have the majority. There's going to be a really hard time pushing anything through the House of Representatives. So if you really seriously think about it, I don't see much being passed within the next few years anyway, no matter what. Sinema's not yet revealed whether she will stay in the Democratic caucus, but her plans to keep committee assignments shows she doesn't want to turn the balance of the Senate upside down, some media outlets suggested. And that's your question there, TR. Yeah, they're on top of it. This is the Republican brief. They usually have the tendency to ask those types of questions. So this is in a series of tweets. Cinema reported in the natural extinction or extension of my service since I was first elected Congress. I have joined the growing number of Arizonans who reject party politics by declaring my independence from the broken partisan system in Washington and formally registering as an Arizona independent. Over the past 4 years, I've worked proudly with our senators of both parties and forged consensus of successful laws, helping everyday Arizonans build better lives for themselves and their families. Becoming an independent won't change my work in the Senate. My service to Arizona remains the same. And that's pretty much what comes into question is she going to seriously like that same person that she's always been? If, are Arizonans going to actually still continue to vote for her? It says the Daily Mail continued adding more details. Her switch follows years in a two-person awkward squad with Manchin and thwarted some of Biden's boldest legislative moves. She pushed hard to limit spending and tax increases, much of the fury of the party leaders and progressive Democrats. That anger was intensified by her reluctance to spell out red lines or goals, leading to reputation as an enigmatic presence in the Democratic caucus. But she always said her stance was in line with the voters of Arizona, a once red state where she had won power by moving to the center. The first term senator faces re election in 2024 and could have expected to face a well funded primary challenger from her conventional party ranks, a challenge she knows she now avoids by leaving the party. Nothing will change about my values or my behavior, she told Politico, adding that she will not caucus as a Republican. So, okay, so she's not going to caucus as a Republican. Well, she shouldn't be able to caucus as anything, being that she's no longer considered part of either party. The cinema informed Chuck Schumer on her decision on Thursday. She said, I don't anticipate that anything will change about the Senate structure. I intend to show up to work, do the same work I'd always do. I just intend to show up and to work as an independent. The senator said she has never really fit into a box of any political party and is close with allies on both sides of the aisle. Republican Senator Tom Cotton told Fox News, I've told her over the last few years that if she wanted to dip a toe into the Republican Party's pool, we'd be happy to have her jump in with us as well. No, this creates more rhinos. Stop it. We don't need people actually flipping from Democrat to Republican or vice versa. You're just creating something that shouldn't exist. If you're going to be part of a party, stay there. Don't say, well, it's kind of moved a little bit. Now I'm going to go jump in. I'm going to actually jump into your party. Because are you seriously going to actually still back what Republicans would want then? Are you going to actually go that far? And I don't see her doing it. I see her still acting the same way she had over the last few years and still pretty much siding with Democrats for the majority of what she's actually going through. It says, I'm privileged to represent Arizonans in all the backgrounds and beliefs of the U.S. Senate, and I'm honored to travel to every corner of our state, listening to your concerns and ideas. While Arizonans don't all agree on the issues, we are united in our values of hard work, common sense, and independence. We make our own decisions using our own judgment and lived experiences to form our beliefs. We don't line up to do what we're told, automatically subscribe to whatever positions and national political parties dictate, or view every issue through labels that divide us. Sinema added that her constituents expect our leaders to follow that example and set aside political games.
But yet she's the one that's playing the political games when it comes down to it, because she's the one that's actually, uh, saying, "Okay, I'm going to sway away from uh, sided politics and actually, go with my own thoughts and my own opinions," which can be okay. It can be okay if there's more people that were actually part of that. But there isn't anybody else that's part of that. Nobody else wants to do that. Everybody's more one side or the other. There's not so many people that are centrist like she is, and I really don't see her as a centrist. I see her still as a Democrat, and because most likely she's still going to side with Democrats when it comes down to it. John Jelaine, the Rumble side says Biden and Pelosi announced that the uh, Build Back Better bill will cost zero. Biden even looked through his white power hand sign hole to the camera when he repealed that. Uh, you know, that Build Back Better Act or whatever, when they actually tried pushing that in the first place, was a very large bill that we've seen them split, break, turn into multiple different bills, um, like the infrastructure, and there's a couple others. I just off the top of my head can't think of what they are, but either way, they've actually broke a bunch of that up and turned it into multiple smaller bills so that they could still pass uh, some of the stuff that they wanted to push through, through the government to actually make it be. Uh, it's really kind of scary when you actually think about how they had such a large bill trying to push it, and then they're like, "Well, okay, if that didn't work, let's break it into, let's take this one thing, break it into 10, and then we'll pass each one slowly through to actually eventually still get what we want." Yeah, I no, exactly, John. He didn't care if it took 6 days, 6 weeks, or 6 months to pass. He didn't care how long it took, as long as it eventually got passed. And that's what he did. He might as well add or 6 different bills, because that, 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 bills, it doesn't matter. As long as he still gets what he wants pushed through is all he cares about. We need to watch and pay attention in the next month or so on what actually continues to happen, what kind of monies are being pushed and funneled through um, to places like Ukraine, uh, because that's all they have left. It's coming down to the wire now. It's coming down where they actually going to start. They have to get ready for this next set of Congress to um, be settled or whatever, and what sides are going to be what, and who's going to be leaders, who's going to be speaker. Um, and we've kind of talked about that in the last month or so, two, whatever. We've actually totally pushed on um, McCarthy and McConnell trying to make their way into those seats that they want. I don't like McCarthy. I really don't. I don't think that he's actually Republican. I think he's worse than that. He's actually a rhino. Turn on a fan. Oh. More than enough R's votes and D's in House and Senate. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of Republicans that actually vote with Democrats. There's a lot. And that's what I'm saying. It's just like when we're actually looking at um, people like McCarthy actually being something, we really really need to think about that. I don't think that he's the best person for that job. I think he's actually maybe one of the worst things for the job. But so, being that we spoke of cinema, there you go. There's Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin puts Chuck Schumer in notice. I'm not a Washington Democrat. People are sick and tired of it. It's Marriage Act. What was it? 30 plus Republicans. Yeah, something like that. This is like I said, you look at these Democrats that are actually kind of sitting in the center and playing wild card, like Kristen Sinema. Now here you go. Here's Joe Manchin, that Democrat has put Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer in notice by declaring that he's not a Washington Democrat. Manchin made the remark while suggesting that he may leave the Democratic Party at the same point in the future, or at some point in the future. So, as I said, you say, okay, you've seen Cinema, you've seen what she did. She goes and she goes and changes her thoughts and says, okay, I'm going to do an independent thing. Well, here's Manchin right along with it. Manchin's these same two wild cards that have been around for the last few years that have pulled this crap and tried to put themselves and to keep, both sides happy to actually keep their seat. Cinema's up for re-election in 24. I'm not positive on when Manchin is up. I would almost assume that his is probably up in 24. So we could possibly see, hopefully, some change come in 2024 when it comes to who's actually sitting in these seats. McConnell's wife seems to fly into Columbus, Ohio a lot. Flights from Hong Kong arrive there too. Interesting. Yeah, exactly, Mehmet Damar. Yep, he totally is a rhino. But now you got this guy. You got this dino. This this Democrat name only of Joe Manchin that's gonna sit there and he's gonna push the same shit that Kristen Sinema has been pushing in the last week or whatever, and actually try going and declaring that he's an independent and doesn't go along with these Democrats, so that way when Democrats still get their way, he's not seen as the person that had anything to do with that. Manchin said he has no plans to follow Sinema and leave now. However, he is up for re-election in a deep red state, so leaving the party could help his chances. That's exactly what he's trying to play state politics and keep his seat, because if he can actually show that he's actually not that Democrat, maybe, just maybe, they'll still continue to vote for him and actually keep him in his spot. Let's hope that they actually kind of think about that and they move on. I'm sure the people of West Virginia might actually start using their brains and actually think about that. I'll look at all these things, Manchin said. I've always looked at all those things, but I have no intention in doing anything right now. Whether I do something later, I can't tell you what the future is going to bring. I'm not a Washington Democrat. I do not know what else to tell you. So, sure you don't. And if a Washington Independent is, we'll see what happens. What happens there? We'll have to look. People are registering more for independent than any other party affiliation. They're sick and tired of it. And I can tell you that people of the United States are very upset. West Virginia is upset. They don't like the bickering that goes on. They want unity. They want us to work together, and that's what I try to do every day. I don't know how you get more independent than I am. Are you sure about that? Manchin has previously thought about leaving the Democrat Party and becoming an independent. He even threatened to switch in October of last year. I said
Me being a moderate centrist Democrat, if that causes you a problem, let me know and I'd switch to being independent. But I'd still be caucusing with Democrats. Aha. So he doesn't want to go and switch right away because he wants to be able to still caucus with the Democrats. He wants to still be able to do that part of politics and actually continue to push the way, push that, I, so there you go. You got two quote unquote Democrats that are sitting there trying to push themselves as independents, and I just don't see it being a good deal in the future for either one of them. I would almost maybe they both can get primaried, and we don't have to worry about them. Maybe we can actually put somebody else in those seats that is actually more for what the people of those states actually want. Could be something to actually think about. Well, let's see where we at. Hour and a half. Still no shirt. Where is that shirt? I don't know. So let's see here. What do we got? Speak of some goings on. You got this lady. Here you go, Rashida Tlaib. Filibuster is a kill switch that perpetrates white supremacy. Go figure. The filibuster is a kill switch that perpetrates white supremacy. Radical far left Representative Rashida Tlaib said Monday, calling for its abolishment. Again, stop it. You taking away the filibuster is not going to fix anything. It's really not. It's just going to make things worse. It's going to make it more difficult for almost everybody when you think about it, because then you're going to be able to actually just push through whatever you want without actually going through the proper rings. And I know that some people still are totally against the filibuster, and there's like, nah, filibusters this, filibusters that. This lady's characterizing it as racism. This is, oh my god, it perpetrates white supremacy. It's like, well, are you sure? Is a popular talking point among members of the radical left. On Monday, Tlaib renewed her position. The filibuster is a kill switch that perpetrates white supremacy, and it has a long history of being used to block civil rights legislation. It is still used to block economic and racial justice. Abolish it, she wrote. This is hardly a new position, as Democrats have long used this tactics in attempts to call for an end of the filibuster. In March 2021, for instance, Cory Bush described the filibuster as something that is upholding the protecting white supremacy. He also included immigration and customs enforcement in private prisons to the list. However, she was not alone, as Democrats called to end the filibuster piled up. The filibuster is still making a mockery of American democracy, Senator Dick Durbin said. At the time, the filibuster is still being misused by some senators to block legislation urgently needed and supported by the strong majority of American people. Ironically, however, Democrats used the so-called Jim Crow relic 327 times in 2020. For example, when Republicans used it only once. Point the fingers at yourself. There you go. That's always the smart thing to do. Way to go, Democrats. Thanks for telling us who started the filibuster and who's actually part of this Jim Crow relic of pushing such things as white supremacy. Oh, isn't that something? When we actually look at Democrats and we actually go back and look at what they've all done, such as the creation of the KKK, all the way through Antifa and BLM, it's all Democrats. But, hey, let's let's project and make it sound like it's everybody else's fault and not our own. If it's tool racism, why did they use it so much when they were in the minority? Senator Lindsey Graham asked in April 2021 as a Democrat calls to end the filibuster were rising. Why did they use it to stop Tim Scott's ability to have the discussion about a police reform? This is hypocrisy and it's not going to work, he added. Notably, the threat of the filibuster resulted in a Republican victory last week as the media cartel bill, the JCPA, was stripped from the text of the National Defense Authorization Act, as was the military mandate. One of the key details several sources of knowledge of the matter told Breitbart News happened was the policy launch for Senate Republicans on Tuesday. Several GOP senators got up and raised concern with what was going on. This came more than a full day into the barrage of backlash Republicans were getting for caving to the Democrats on this, and it became clear to GOP Senate leaders, especially McConnell, that the threat Senator Tom Cotton, made on Fox News earlier that morning that Republicans would filibuster the NDAA if the JCPA and the other unrelated leftist measures were in it was real. So McConnell called Pelosi later in the afternoon on Tuesday, per several sources familiar with the matter, and told her straight out items like JCPA from the NDAA or the GOP will filibuster the defense bill. Pelosi caved and cut the nonsense out. Bill text was published later on Tuesday evening, demonstrating the GOP victory. Senator Tom Cotton is also among those who have highlighted the hypocritical position of Democrats in regard to the filibuster. So, they're always going to try pushing it as, oh, it's racist. We need to get rid of it. We need to remove the filibuster. The filibuster is horrible. The filibuster is bad. It's a relic. But when you actually look at the times that it's used by which each side of the party, it seems though, even though Democrats call it what they want, they're the ones that use it the most. Who's the racist? Really makes you think. Let's see. Them Dems keep crapping on the filibuster, the Second Amendment, and the First. Of course they do. That's exactly, John. That's exactly what they do. They're going to continue to do so. John Roberts used to interview cool musical bands in the 80s. Poor J.D. Roberts caught in the mainstream media news pinball machine. Yeah. It really does seem like that's the case, doesn't it? So let's see here. We've been talking about people that have actually lost seats, picked up seats, and I'm just gonna kind of hit some of these articles that I had put up here, whatever, in no particular order. I know that this person, this right here says, recount confirms Lauren Boebert holds her House seat. That was put into question. It was put into question because it was such a close race that they did do a recount. Recount did confirm that she actually did pick up that seat or keep the seat that she was in, which is all good for Republican Party or whatever, because as far as that goes, she deserved to actually have that seat. Adam Frisch was not the right person for the job, obviously. This is Secretary of State Jenna Griswold announced the results on Monday evening. Frisch netted a total of 4 votes in the recount, far from enough to close the 500-plus vote gap with Boebert. As Aspen City Councilman, Frisch said already had already conceded the race last month after the first tally, but him just under the state's margin for the mandatory recount. Frisch conceded to Boebert last month in the race in Colorado's 3rd congressional district. Though he actually did that, they did go back and do the recount just to be sure that everything was legit and correct. And as you can see, it was, and this is news as of today, um, that they've actually confirmed that she actually does get to hold this House seat. Her being in that House seat is great for Republicans. She's one of the more outspoken, verbal, uh, straight up Republicans, and I'm glad that she actually kept it. And it should be actually some good stuff that can come out of her in the next few years. Could be interesting to see what actually becomes of that. Let's see here. Did that one. This is some of the stuff that I had up here that I was assuming that I was gonna do just a short bit on the YouTube side, and then I was gonna go and I was gonna shut it off, and I was gonna go straight over to just do Rumble. I don't want to do that. I really don't. I really enjoy the people that actually watch me on YouTube being able to actually still be able to listen to me. So I'm just gonna, bite myself and just be like, nope, I'm not gonna speak of this. Nope, I won't speak of that. There's just certain things that I'll just, sway away from and just not talk about it. I thought this was kind of interesting because we speak of power issues, electricity, energy issues, in the United States as much as we do, trying to move away from and oil plants and actually just move it right straight into uh, solar and wind power to actually go through. There's a history has major breakthrough in nuclear fusion energy. Uh, the that fusion energy is nuclear power we all know is fairly clean. It was the fallout that they had hard times actually storing. They fixed a lot of those issues in the last so many years where it's not so difficult. But now they've actually gone to the next level and had this breakthrough with this nuclear fusion. So it's this U.S. Department of Energy, National Nuclear Security Administration, has announced that America has just made history with a major breakthrough in nuclear fusion energy. Nuclear scientists have achieved fusion ignition at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. The news is a major scientific breakthrough that has been decades in the making. The achievement will pave the way for further advancements in national defense and the future of clean power. On December 5th, a team at LLNLS National Ignition Facility conducted the first controlled fusion experiment in history to reach this milestone. It is also known as scientific energy break even, meaning it produced more energy from fusion than the energy used to power the experiment. Many call this the holy grail of energy, as if perfected, it will deliver cheap, consistent energy without harmful waste materials. Which is great. Which is, like I said, it's like nuclear power was clean as it was. Had its issues when it came to the contaminants that came from it that they had a hard time storing and controlling. If now that they've actually figured this out and actually gotten something better, maybe nuclear fusion may actually be a big thing of the future. Lawrence Livermore Lavatory. I mean, uh, the historic first of its kind achievement will support NNSA's stockpile stewardship program and will provide invaluable insights into prospects of clean fusion energy which would be a game changer. This is a landmark achievement for the researchers and the staff at the National Ignition Facility who have dedicated their careers to seeing fusion ignition become a reality. And this milestone will undoubtedly spark even more discovery. We have had theoretical understanding of fusion for over a century, but the journey from knowing to doing can be long and arduous. Today's milestone shows that we can do what we can do with perseverance, says Dr. Artie Prabhakar, the president's chief advisor in science and technology and directors of the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy. Being that they've actually gone through this process and actually finally discovered how to actually use nuclear fusion properly and give us some other forms of clean energy, maybe in this near future, we might not be so concerned with the shutdown of so many coal-fired plants and oils, oil refineries in their power capabilities. If we're actually able to create power plants that use this particular type of technologies, we might actually be able to not be so scared that power grid would actually just go down if the wind stopped blowing or if the sun didn't come out for the day. Manchin Sinema may be afraid Republicans will show up in greater numbers in 24 election. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Distancing themselves from the Dems. Some of them will never give up and try to abolish it. Speaking of the filibuster, yep, of course. Fusion reactors will be revolutionary, I think. Yeah, it's really something that could actually be pretty cool here for the United States when it comes to power concerns and energy concerns. We may actually, have something here where people won't be so concerned with power actually just no longer being around. Like I said, some of the stuff that I had here, I was kind of like, this is stuff that you talk about over on Rumble and Rumble alone. You don't speak of it on the YouTube side. Chuck out Pelosi's fists in the screen capture. Yeah, right. John Jelaine says, I can't believe Sandia Labs didn't beat them on the news dump. Yeah, right. Gotta laugh every once in a while. I'm worse than the ditch pig Katie Hobbs by thinking I can't type whatever I want to win an election. Check out Pelosi's fists. It's a threat to the narrative. They'll find a way to make it bad and pursue just like nuclear power. Oh, yeah, of course. They'll try to make it bad. They're always going to try doing something. Scott Cardinal, how's it going, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Like I said, there's a lot of articles that I had up that there's like, nope, this isn't gonna happen. This one we can cover. Like I said, I had like 20 some odd articles and 3, 6, 9, 12, about a dozen of them that I just like, nah, these aren't YouTube friendly at all. There's no YouTube friendliness when it comes to certain things, and I just don't want to go away. I want to stay over here. I want to stay on YouTube as long as I possibly can. Those that are actually listening, that are still with me, it looks like I'm actually losing viewers as we're actually going on here, which is fine. Those that are still with me,
Thursday, 2 days from today, this is actually Tuesday's news. Thursday, I'm going to see if I can't start earlier in the day or in the night or whatever and actually hold a longer chat, whatever, see how many people we can get to come in. It will be 1 year of this particular show. That being said, everybody will be invited to actually come in, say hi, and speak of whatever we want. It could be interesting, could be fun. Let's see here. So, thought this was kind of interesting. I kind of wondering how many people are going to get away with certain particular crimes now that this would actually happen. It says NYPD evidence warehouse erupts in flames. Says the building is one of 5 warehouses where the NYPD stores vehicles that are confiscated. They also use the warehouse to store evidence that is too large to fit in normal storage areas. As you can see, there's a fairly large fire that can be seen from quite a distance of this very large warehouse. It says social media is abuzz as the footage of the massive fire and waterfront warehouse used by the New York City Police Department. Local news Fox 5 New York said that Erie Basin Auto Pond warehouse is located in Brooklyn. The NYPD said a vehicle caught fire and spread throughout the facility. First responders arrived at the Auto Pound around 10:30 Eastern Time. The fire is still raging 2 hours later. There are more than 140 firefighters at the scene. Here's footage of the fire uploaded on Twitter. And you can see they got a different view of it. Quite the fire. That's a lot of black smoke. That's usually not a good thing when you actually dump that much carbon into the air. Go figure. They're all like, hurry up, get there. But yeah, you can just see. You can see that, there's obviously a massive fire. The fire is visible from Manhattan and large enough to be detected by Doppler radar. So you can see quite the distance away that you can actually see that fire. How long is this? 25 seconds. Quite an interesting ordeal. And being that it's an NYPD, impound area, and here you go. There's the Doppler radar that's actually picking up. You can they're circling where that fire come from. You can see all the green dots that had that are coming off of it or whatever. You can see there's quite the amount of smoke that has actually been created from such a deal. This is someone blew up the NYPD evidence facility while they were studying for my while I was studying for my evidence exam. Oh, go figure. That's interesting. And there you go. That's quite the view. Dang. Very large, fire that, took out an evidence facility. I mean, you just have to really seriously think about what was being stored there. How many criminals are now going to get let off on crimes because there's no longer any evidence available? I see your comment, John. Yeah, there goes all the evidence. It's just gone. Destroyed, removed. No longer. How many crimes will now just be like, well, we got to throw that out. We don't have your evidence any longer. Something happened to it. Shades of 9/11 and maybe even Oklahoma. Yeah, I mean, potentially when you actually think about some of the ramifications that can come from it, it could be very bad. But at the same time, I just see it as
there's an awful lot of criminals that are going to get off on in cases and charges that they maybe shouldn't. That's it's a large facility that's just no longer in existence. It's gone, and people are going to get away with things now. Kind of scary, kind of disturbing. Let's see here. Where are we at? Almost 2 hours. We're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. I'm going to cover this one because this disturbed me. This disturbs me so much that people are allowed to actually continue to do such a thing. There you go. It's the anniversary today of that SH. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe somebody didn't extinguish their cigarette properly? Yeah, maybe. Just maybe. So, woman reportedly left concussed as biological male body slams her during a hockey tournament. Body slams? Did you seriously pick her up and actually slam her to the ground? A biological female athlete was left concussed after a biological male pushed her into the ground during the National Hockey League sponsored all-trans draft tournament in Wisconsin. Jonathan Kay reports the NHL came under fire in November for a tweet that read, "Trans women are women, trans men are men. Non-binary identity is real." The comment was made after the league announced it would sponsor the tournament, which includes about 80 transgender non-binary players. Now, again, I don't have problem with people actually doing what they want in their own age. It's fine. But when you actually go to the point of doing such a thing, dang well, body structure comes to play when it comes to slamming people into the ground. You're not built the same. Body structure is totally different. And for somebody just to go ahead and do something because no, you're not. Kay reports in the Quillet that despite outlets such as The Vice sending crews to cover the event, no reporting emerged on how the game played out. The NHL didn't comment on the outcome of the game, only tweeting photos of the event after it occurred. Kay says that it was due to obvious physical advantage which biological men enjoyed over their female team members and opponents. Of course they did. One of the male to female pushed one of the female to male athletes on the ice, throwing her head first into the boards. So a male to female had pushed a female to male. So a male pushed a female. Huh. Is that how that works? Get a stretcher, get a medic. Players shouted as they surrounded the players. It reportedly took 17 minutes for the player who suffered a concussion to be placed in the stretcher and taken off the ice. This part right here, what it was or who did it to whoever, when it comes to anybody doing such a thing to anybody, you gotta be kidding me. Just, dang well that this pushing this to the ground, it's such force, you're gonna hurt them, especially when it comes to doing certain things like doing so on ice and throw them against a ball. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Biological men have been sweeping athletic competitions in female sports categories. Dozens of athletic competitions for females have tipped in favor of men who compete with women, according to the investigation by the Daily Caller. A June Washington Post poll found that a majority of Americans oppose allowing biological men to compete with women's sports. Support for biological men in women's sports declines the higher the level of competition. It's just wrong and very disturbing that they'd actually allow such a thing to occur
Men versus women in the same arena is fine, but you have to think about it. This man turned to woman, picked up this woman turned to man, and threw them into the wall, concussing them. That's not fair. That's not safe. That's not something that we should ever have to sit there and worry about in sports, regardless of what it was. Even if it was a man throwing another man, it's just not right. Would it have been any different? Probably not. But they made it what they did, and that's what happens. That's exactly what happens. I know it seems like a lot of my stuff is actually broke up today because, like I said, there's a lot of articles that I just kind of like no, can't cover that. No, can't cover that. Like, just there's so much news that's out there, so many things to speak of that when it comes to YouTube, you just have to watch what you're actually covering. You really do. And it's back to biting my tongue and what I can actually speak of and what I can't. It almost makes me feel like I should actually just shut off the YouTube side and just go over to Rumble and try finishing some of this other stuff. Because of what it is. I feel the need that some people they might be interested in actually listening and hearing about some of it, but I really don't want to. I just don't. Stuff is getting out of control. Yeah, absolutely, my man. Tomorrow, it's very, very disturbing. How people think it's okay to do such thing. Yeah, I'm not going to cover any of these other articles. They're all gone. Junk, trash, disappeared. No longer available. Moment tomorrow. Got to crash. Good night, all. Yeah, good night. Have a wonderful night. Sleep well, and we'll see you again tomorrow. We'll come back. We'll do something more. Like I said, I really don't want to go away from the YouTube side, so I'm going to see what I can do about producing a show that'll be YouTube friendly for tomorrow and not just thinking the way I had been thinking for the last few months and being so loose with things over on the Rumble side. That being said, being that we are 2 hours into this, I'm actually going to shut it down for the night. I'm glad to be back, Momentumore. It's exciting to actually realize that I'm here. I'm on YouTube. I'm just losing viewers at the moment. Down to 3 people still watching over on the YouTube side. I knew that was going to be a deal because why? Nick Rekieta. Nick Rekieta's on YouTube right now. Go figure. Again, that being said, thank you all so much for actually being around. Have a wonderful night.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Later.